Hello, and welcome to the Limbo of Fantasy. Today we are talking about the Elder Blood and so-called Lara Jean. Ciri is often referred to as the child of the Elder Blood, but what exactly does that mean, and why is it so important? Ages ago, one of the Elven Knowing Ones gave a prophecy. Knowing Ones, also known as seers, are basically powerful Elven sorcerers. That prophecy was to shape the actions and destinies of many. Iflina Egli ap Evenian, as she was named, prophesied that the world will die in the white frost and be reborn of the Elder Blood. Ancient elves took the prophecy to heart and got to work creating the Elder Blood. It took hundreds of years of planning, preparation and creating very carefully chosen mating pairs. But they finally managed to create what was later called the Elder Blood, or the Lara Jean. In Elven language it is called Hen Ikaer. It is worth mentioning here that the Elder Blood gene is only active and powerful in females. Males can carry the gene, but it will always be latent. It is a powerful genetic material, getting stronger and stronger in each carefully planned generation. A person with Elder Blood had power over time and space, dimensions and spheres, was said to be the master of worlds. Thanks to their careful genetic planning, elves hoped to one day make Elder Blood powerful enough so that its bearer would be able to create a permanent, powerful portal, a gateway through which all the people of this doomed world would be transported into a different one. This way they would be saved from the white frost, saved by the Elder Blood. Avalak tells us that elves managed to open such a gateway once already, ages ago, before the conjunction of the spheres. So they knew it could be done by one powerful enough. And the prophecy of Iflina was quite clear to them. Those who would follow the child of the Elder Blood would survive the time of the end. So, hundreds of years and many generations after the prophecy, elves had already managed to engineer a pretty powerful gene. They were not done yet, however. Their latest Elder Blood carrier was Lara Dorren, and she was supposed to make a next child in line with Avalak, another knowing one. However, Lara destroyed all those centuries of careful planning when she fell in love with a human sorcerer named Cregan of Lod. Their relationship made neither humans nor elves happy, and soon Cregan ended up murdered. Lara was hounded and hunted, and soon she died on a hill, giving birth to a girl named Rhiannon. Rhiannon was adopted by Cero, the queen of Redania, and this is when all the elves' planning went to shit. They lost control of the Elder Blood, it slipped from their grasp and ended up firmly in the hands of humans. Human sorcerers were not slow to recognize the power and potential of Lara Jean, and the Lodge of Sorceresses attempted to make a breeding program of their own. For years they manipulated rulers into certain marriages, promoting some unions, discouraging the others. They wanted to create and control a savior and a queen of the new world. But they operated under some false assumptions and eventually lost track of the Elder Blood. They thought that the gene died out and disappeared. There was one crucial piece of information that the mages didn't have at the time. The Elder Blood is not one gene, but has in fact 3 possible components. There is the main gene, the active and powerful one, responsible for all the cool abilities and mastery over time and space. That gene occurs only in females, and this is what Ciri carries. There is also a latent version of the gene, a dormant one. A person of any gender can carry it and pass it on to the next generation. but it does not come with any specific abilities or powers. This latent gene can get weaker and weaker if it passes only from male to male. It will finally disappear sometime around the 3rd generation. And there is also another component, a pseudogene, also called deactivator. Anybody can carry deactivator as well. When a latent gene and an activator meet, proper elder blood is created. After the Lodge of Sorceresses lost track of the elder blood, it was thought to disappear completely. However, through the aforementioned meeting of a latent gene and an activator, it reappeared in Calanthe, who passed it later to Pavetta, who in turn passed it to Ciri. And that is why everyone wants Ciri, or rather wants a child she can bear, the next child of the elder blood. NL elves want her to make a child with their king. Vilgefortz wants her placenta. Lodge of Sorceresses wants to marry her off to the Prince of Kovir. And her father, Emhyr var Emreis, wants to marry Ciri and give her a child himself. An idea that he luckily abandons later, as it is as creepy as it is incestuous. There are a lot of misconceptions about the elder blood floating around on the continent. Some result from poor translations of the prophecy of Itlina, some are repeated in legends and myths, and some resulted from the actions and curses of Falka. Even those who correctly assume that the child of the elder blood is supposed to assure the rebirth of the world don't always know how and why. Human legend says that Lara Dorren cursed Zero and her whole line up to the 10th generation as she was dying on the hill. From that comes a misconception that the elder blood is cursed, tainted somehow, that it is a seed of death and destruction, of hatred and disdain. This belief was reinforced by Falka. When she was dying in flames, executed for her many crimes, Falka was cursing everyone and everything. She said that an avenger will be born from her tainted elder blood, and he will be death and destruction. Falka's life and rebellion are a subject for a whole separate video. Falka did have an elven grandmother, but that grandmother had nothing to do with Lara Dorren or the Elder Blood program. So, as far as we know, Falka didn't carry Elder Blood gene, and her line died out with the death of her only daughter, again, as far as we know. As Sheila de Tankerville points out, we can't be certain of anything. There can be unrecorded children, bastards, hidden products of incest, and so on. There might be elder blood hidden somewhere, carried by someone other than Ciri, but that is nothing but pure speculation. The misconception about elder blood being tainted and cursed is quite popular. It is even repeated by a very well-informed Codringer. However, the sorceresses and the elves know better and tell us a different story. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and consider sharing it with others. Subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell if you would like to be notified of more Witcher lore videos in the future. And as always, suggestions, comments and constructive criticism are welcome. Leave them in the comments below. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time.